Hi, today I want to take a look at some problems that are going to be common on the SAT, particularly system of equations. So we see here we have two equations, negative 5y plus 4x equals 49, and right below that we have 7y plus 2x equals 23. And so in a system of equations problem, we want to find out what the x and what the y equals. So we're going to be working through these problems and we're going to solve them using the elimination method for these problems. And typically on the SAT, you'll probably find them in word problems. We'll look at word problems later down the line, but right now we're just going to look at just the math, just the two equations and how to solve them. Okay, so when you're doing elimination method, you basically want to eliminate one of the variables. So you see you have negative 5y and 7y and 4x plus 4x and then positive 2x. You want to find the number to multiply one of these equations so that one of the variables eliminate. So I'll show you what I mean. So I notice here that you have 2x and 4x, and 4x is a multiple of 2x. So we're going to multiply this bottom equation, this whole bottom equation, by negative 2. And we're going to see what we get. So what we get is negative 2 times 7y is going to give us negative 14y. Negative 2 times 2x is going to give us a negative 4x. And negative 2 times negative 23 is going to give us positive 46. Great. So now we have our new equation where we multiplied every single term by negative 2. Now we're going to rewrite the very top equation, negative 5y plus 4x equals 49, right below our new one. Now you may notice that we have negative 4x and positive 4x right on top of each other. So this is what we mean by elimination. If you were to add these two equations, right? If you were to add negative 14y to negative 5y and then negative 4x plus 4x, this x term would be eliminated because negative 4x would cancel out positive 4x. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to add these two equations and we're going to see what we get. So negative 14y minus 5y, we add those two together and we get negative 19y. And again, negative 4x plus 4x, they cancel out, so we're going to leave it as 0. And 46 plus 49, that's going to give us, let's see, 95. Cool. So all we have to do now is solve for y. So negative 19y equals 95. So when we divide both sides by 19, we're going to get y equals negative 5. So now all we got to do is plug in what we know for y into one of the equations to find out what x is. So let's actually do the first equation. So negative 5 times y, which we know is negative 5, plus 4x equals 49. Great. So we know what, so we can do negative 5 times negative 5, which will give us positive 25, plus 4x equals 49. And from here, we can subtract 25 on both sides. And that will give us 24. So now we can do 4x equals 24. We divide 4 on both sides. The 4's cancel out here. So 24 divided by 4 equals 6. And that is what our x will equal. So we can write our answers as x equals 6 and y equals negative 5. Okay, so I want to look at a system of equations where the equations are set up a little bit funky. So we see here that we have 3x plus 4y equals negative 23, and 2y minus x equals negative 19. And we can see that the x's and the y's do not line up. So we have 3x right above 2y, and we have 4y above the negative x. So in a situation like this on a test or a problem, the test makers or whoever is designing the problem simply just wants to trick you. They just want to add an extra step to kind of confuse you and throw you off. But we can actually just rearrange it to the way that we're familiar with. So let me do that. So let me rewrite the x so that it's right below the 3x, and then the 2y where it's right below the positive 4y. So it's our choice now. So do we want to eliminate the x's by multiplying this negative x by 3 so that it eliminates with the top 3x? Or do we want to multiply this 2y by negative 2 so that it eliminates with this 4y? So which would we pick? Well, you can go with either one. However, looking at the answer, negative 19, I would much rather prefer multiplying negative 19 by negative 2 than by 3. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to multiply this whole equation by negative 2. So negative 2 times negative x gives us 2x. Negative 2 times 2y gives us negative 4y. And negative 2 times negative 19 gives us positive 38. Okay, now we can bring in this top equation and bring it all the way down. So we can rewrite 3x plus 4y equals negative 23. And now that we have all our equations lined up, we can just add them straight down. So 2x plus 3x gives us 5x. Negative 4y plus 4y cancels each other out, so we don't have to write anything. Bring down the equal sign. So 38 plus negative 23 gives us 15. Okay, now we can divide both sides by 5. So 5 divided by 5 gives us 1, so we can cancel that out. And 15 divided by 5 equals 3. So x equals 3. So now that we have one of our answers, we can plug it directly back into the equation. So let's see what we get. So let's pick the first one. Okay. So let me just erase this. Okay. So 3 times x, which is 3, plus 4y equals negative 23. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then plus 4y equals negative 23. We're going to subtract 9 on both sides, so this cancels out, and we can subtract 9 there. And then now we get negative 32. Let me actually rewrite that 30. Oh, okay. Equals 4y. Now we divide both sides by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, that cancels out, and negative 32 divided by 4 gives us negative 8. So we know our y equals negative 8. So these are our two answers. And we can plug it back in just to make sure that our answers are correct. So let's actually use the second equation just to make sure. So negative x, which is 3, plus 2y, which is going to be 2 times negative 8. So 2 times negative 8 equals negative 16 plus negative 3. That's going to give us negative 19, which is the same answer that the second equation has. So now we know that our answers are correct. So x equals 3 and y equals negative 8. Okay. Now let's look at a new equation. So for this equation, we see we have 3x minus y equals 7 and 2x plus y equals 8. So sometimes you'll get an equation like this where sometimes you'll get an equation like this where you actually don't need to do any math. So we can see just by looking at this that we have a negative y and a plus y. And if we were to add those two together, they would cancel out automatically. So we don't have to multiply any of the equations by some other number. So we can just add them straight down. So 3x plus 2x is 5x. Negative y plus y would give us 0 because they cancel each other out. And 7 plus 8 equals 15. From here, we can divide both sides by 5. So let me just erase this 0. So 5 divided by 5 equals 1, so we can cross that out. And 15 divided by 5 would give us 3. So x equals 3. Now we want to plug that back into one of the equations. So I'll pick the second one. It can go to the first one too, but I'm just gonna pick the second one because we're just multiplying x by 2. So we're doing 2 times x, which is 3, plus y equals 8. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus y equals 8. We subtract 6 on both sides, and we get 2. So y equals 2. So these are our two answers, x equals 3 and y equals 2. And we can check our work by plugging these two variables back into the equation and seeing if it's correct. So let's do that. So let's pick the first equation since we use the second one. So 3x minus y. So 3, we know what x is. X is also 3. Minus y, which is going to be 2, equals 7. That's 7. So 3 times 3 is 9, minus this 2 equals 7. And we know that 9 minus 2 is 7, and it works out. So we know that our answers are correct.